Welcome to the Genius Way Show with your host, Ben Hummell. The aim of this show is to provide education, encouragement, and insights for people who are on their own personal development journeys. As a psychotherapist, teacher, author, and creator of the Genius Way process, Ben will focus on identifying common challenges to living a purposeful life, and will share valuable psychological and spiritual tools to help you make healthy and empowering life changes. We hope you enjoy the show.
Hey friends, welcome to the Genius Way Show. I'm your host, Ben Hummell, and welcome to another week of getting closer to understanding and expressing your own individual genius. That's what this show is about. And it's riding on the back of the Genius Way process, which is my way of teaching people how to learn about their own genius, how to feel it, how to encounter it, how to express it, and all that good stuff. So today, what we're going to be talking about is the difference between potential and destiny. And within that conversation, we're going to talk about, life fulfillment and life purpose, meaning, all that regular stuff that we always talk about that is part of the extraordinariness of our lives. Is that a word? I don't know. We'll see. So let's talk about first the idea of fulfilling our lives, fulfilling our destiny, and kind of living into the life that we're supposed to live into, which is, if you didn't feel like there was something either that you're living now or you're wanting to learn more about living into, in terms of what am I doing here? What is this life about for me? How do I step into the fullness of that expression? If you didn't feel that, you wouldn't be watching this show. So we're going to kind of just go right past that and assume that that's part of why you're here. That's part of why we are connecting right now. Okay. So one thing I like to say in my book, The Genius Way, right there, I talk about the difference or the similarities and differences between us and using the analogy of the acorn. The analogy of the acorn is completely, overused and, but the idea of the acorn is so beautiful and so simple that, you hold that little acorn in your hand and for sure this thing is going to turn into an oak tree. Absolutely, no doubt. It's never going to be a ficus or a gardenia or, a banyan tree. It is going to be an oak. Okay. That's why it's such a good illustration of human beings, because each one of us has an acorn of our own that is predestined to be something in particular. Okay. Something in particular. And this is, not necessarily about, our kind of physical expression, but it's more about an energetic expression in terms of what this life that we're living individually has in potential. What do we have in potential? That's what's in our acorn. Okay. So when, the first quote that I wrote in my book about, the acorn is from Shaw, and it says, consider an acorn when you plant it in the earth, somehow it explodes into an oak. See, so it knows what to do. That little thing that's almost seems like a rock, you hold it in your hand, you don't see any life in it, but it's an excuse for that part of existence to step into its full form, a fuller form. Okay. So when you look at the acorn and then you look at the oak tree, they don't look similar, do they? They look quite different. But yet every acorn, if it's given the right conditions, is going to grow into some sort of oak. And there's many types of oak, but they don't look the same. So you can look at that and be like, I don't know. I'm kind of wary that that's actually going to happen. Looking at it right now, that acorn looks pretty, I don't know. It looks, kind of dubious that that's actually going to turn into an oak, but yet it does. Okay. Same thing with us. whatever we look like, whatever our life seems like right now, for certain, there is something that is in potential, that is in the form of potential within us, that when it reaches its fulfillment, it is harmonious with the rest of the universe that we find around us. It's purposeful in that it serves some kind of purpose or function to ourselves or the people, places, and things that we find around ourselves, because that's kind of how it works. That's the magic of it. But we don't get to know that when we're looking at the tiny little acorn. We have to plant it and see the magic happen. So what does it mean to plant yourself in order to feel this fulfillment of your genius, to plant yourself so that we explode into the genius DNA that we carry with us, that we get to express our inborn gifts and talents? What does that mean to plant yourself? So, one way to look at that is that we can't obviously plant ourselves in soil. Well, you can try it. I don't think it's going to work, but we can plant ourselves in consciousness. The more conscious we become of our hidden potential, or the potential that we've been born with, we are then kind of planting ourselves consciously in an environment where we're going to be looking out for the opportunities, and we're going to be looking out for those little genius qualities that we actually have to appear, and give them, the water and the light and the food that they need to kind of come out. Okay. One of the things that I talk about here along these lines is the idea of education. And the original meaning of the word education, educare, from the Latin, means to lead out someone's genius, to lead out what you have within you. Lead it out, like getting a horse by its reins and leading it out of the stall, right? So when you can lead out your genius by being conscious, planting yourself in the ground of conscious awareness, you're able to kind of feel the genius in you when you're in certain circumstances, and then create those circumstances again to let that genius come out. Like, for instance, this is one for me. In order for this part of my genius to come out, where I help other people find their genius, or talk about meditation or any of those things, do therapy, I have to put myself in front of people and give myself a platform to let this information come out. Part of this, what I speak about, is what I've learned. Part of it is just something that kind of has always been there for me. And I get to be surprised when I hear things come out as much as anybody else does. So I've created for myself, I've planted myself in various situations in a position where I get to speak. And through speaking, the ideas and the insights and my life experience comes out and is a benefit to myself and other people. Okay. That's me planting myself in a conscious place, in a conscious way, knowing how good it feels to be able to open up like this and kind of share these insights, and knowing that it is helpful to others. All those things together make me know this is part of my genius. Okay. And so you have that exact same thing, but you just got to find what it is. And the Genius Way process is about finding that. It helps us key into when genius is being experienced, what it feels like, what it looks like, what you should do with it, and how you should take care of it. This seed of genius, this acorn of genius, how you should take care of it as a conscious practice. Okay. So that's the difference between maybe a contemporary idea of genius and a more universal idea. The contemporary idea of genius is somebody that has a really big IQ, or is just amazing at something, and they just have it and it's there all the time, right? Another way to see that is Well, everybody has a genius, and for people who want to make genius their path, they have to be consciously aware of it. They have to tend to it like they're tending to a garden. They have to look out for it. They have to remember when it's come up in them, and they have to create a place in their lives for it, right? And so that is the conscious planting of yourself in the ground where your genius can grow, making a place for it. Like when we plant an acorn, we have to dig a hole a certain depth, put the acorn in, cover it up, water it. It's like it's a thing. It's a thing that happens. Same thing with wanting to express your own genius and all the creativity that's there. We have to make a place for it and tend to it consciously. Okay, so that's really what we're going to talk about today is the potential of genius versus destiny. What is the difference between those two things? We'll get into that later. But one thing to say in this first segment here is that the creativity that it takes to express your genius and to be open to your own genius coming forth, I'm going to say it right on the outset, that creativity that we use, we're borrowing from existence itself, So our creativity is the same as the creativity of existence. So we're going to get into that a little bit deeper. But first, I want you to watch this video. It's a very short video, just about the creative process of allowing your genius to come out. Get into this a little bit more, and on the other side, I'll come back and we'll go to a deeper level of this topic of genius.
If your art looks like a mess, you're a true artist in the making. Let's uncover that genius. Every one of us is born with unique talents, and guess what? It's time to uncover yours. You're not just living your life, you're co-creating it with the universe. Think of it like a dance, where your creativity meets the world's endless possibilities. Imagine all your ideas blending with life's infinite canvas. It's not about being the next Picasso or Mozart. It's about finding your voice, your style, your joy. Don't let fear or doubt hold you back. Your creative potential is limitless. Start with small steps. Doodle, write a poem, take a photo. Celebrate every little creation. Remember, you are a co-creator of your destiny. Embrace your gifts and let them shine. The world needs your unique spark. So, what are you waiting for? Let's create something amazing today.
Okay, so I want you to just for a second, take a look around you. I don't know where you are in your house or wherever you're watching this on your phone. Take a look around you and see if you can notice something that existence, the creativity of existence, has expressed. Like if there's a plant there, or if you can look out the window and see a tree or the sky or anything not created by, human hands for now. So when you can see that thing, what you gotta kind of, the lens you have to put on to see that is a creative expression of existence. And the more you look in nature and look out in space and under the ocean, under a microscope, the more you're going to see that everything is like an endless creative expression by something, some force, whatever. Even if you have no deity that you're thinking about or no consciousness that you're talking about, even the endless springing forth of all kinds of different life expressions from whatever it is, you got to see that's actually happening. There is a lot of creativity going on, and it seems endless. Every week we hear about people going to depths of the ocean and seeing these different fish that they have never seen before, that are just bizarre to us because we don't know about them. But there's seemingly no end to the creativity, the creative expression of existence. That it just keeps going. And so think about it this way. It's not just humans that are not an expression of creative existence. We are, and again, it doesn't matter what religion, faith, what your philosophy is, it's just obvious. Something keeps throwing out these expressions, and we're one of those things. All the good, bad, and different, good, bad, and the ugly parts of us, we are an expression of existence. Okay, so one of the things that humans have, possibly beyond that of like the plant world, is that we have the consciousness to be able to look back and say, whoa, I'm an expression of existence. I've been expressed by something, right? That conscious awareness can also get us aware of the fact that, oh, I can emulate that expression. I can emulate or continue that creative expression that expressed me. And when we do that, it's not our expression, it's a continuation of existence's expression. So we get expressed, we take that same ingredient and continue to express. And that's what our creativity is. That's what our creative expression is. And that's exactly what genius's job in this world, in the individual, is to further that creative expression that began as being expressed as this. Does that make sense? I know it keeps, we keep going back, but basically, in a nutshell, we are the continuation of the original expression from existence. So when you're feeling creative, specifically when you're feeling creative through being in touch with your own genius gifts, the ones that you were born with, that you kind of open up to, and when you're feeling that kind of sense of fulfillment, you are using the exact same impulse that was used to create you. Okay? And so that's why it feels so fulfilling to live out your genius qualities, to express your genius in a creative way, and to be on your own genius way, your own genius path, because it is the fulfillment, the further fulfillment of the initial expression from existence. And I hope I'm not going too many layers down here for you. But this is a really good way to understand this. So when you're expressing your genius, it's both personal and impersonal. Just like when people see you walking around and hear you speak and watch what you do and watch your creativity, they have more of a chance to see you as an expression of existence than you do. But when you turn your consciousness within and kind of watch and feel, wait a minute, when I'm expressing myself, there's something more that's kind of carrying me. There's something more that feels fulfilling, that I'm filling into. So, and when you see that, you know that there's something that you're using to express yourself that's more than your little personality. It's something that's deeply connected to existence, even though you might not have a name for it. With the genius way, I'm trying to give it a name. I'm trying to give this extra thing that everyone has at their best, at their core, and give it that name. And the best one I could find is genius. Okay, so I'm not talking about your soul or your spirit. I'm talking about, nothing, this is not a religious thing. It is sacred, by the way, but it's not religious. When you express your genius, you're expressing something that was not contrived. It's not a matter of what happened to you. It's not a result of your childhood experiences. It's something that we were born with, that we were meant to live into, and give to the world as a gift. That's what our genius is. Okay? Genius isn't there to impress people. It's a natural thing that's given to every person, that if they can feel their way to it, it feels really good to be in it and to express it and to share it. Okay? So we're basically being guided to fulfill this expression of genius, we're being guided by how it feels. And so, do you know what the feeling of fulfillment feels like? Have you ever felt fulfilled? I want you to just think about that for a second. What does it feel like for you to be feeling, wow, this action, or doing this thing really feels fulfilling for me. So I want you to think about that. If you have experienced that, I want you to consider that one of the reasons that feels so good, just that word fulfillment, what that means is that you're filling something in. You are completing something. You are, living into something. So in terms of genius and life fulfillment, think about this. For this, use this little analogy here. So just imagine that, here's the outline of my body here. And let's say my genius, just for sake of illustration, my genius energetically is, 5 times as big as this body. Just for fun, we're going to use that analogy. And so when I can, not physically, but energetically fill in that space, that potential for genius, that potential to live into, when I can embody that by expressing everything that I came here with to express, not holding it back, finding a way to get that expression out, making the effort to live into that quality, letting go of fear and worry about it, embracing my uniqueness. I get to fill in that kind of energetic body of myself that's 5 times as big as this body. And that feeling of fulfillment, meaning filling out my potential, happens. And it feels really good because most of us don't reach that. Most of us don't know that it's there. Only the crazy people like me and probably you are the ones who feel something and know, man, I have to go towards that even though I don't really know what I'm doing. So if that's ever something that you felt, it's like, man, I need to go forward and kind of stretch my experience a little bit because I'm not living into my potential. I know it's there, but I don't feel like I'm getting there. I don't feel like, it's actually happening yet. And so I'm going to make all these different efforts to find it. Some efforts you kind of fall short. Others are just, whoa, that was great. That was fulfilling. That was amazing. So the difference between potential and destiny is kind of where you end up. Potential is what to live into. Potential is what to fulfill. Okay? So our potential is not empty. It is full of possibility. And again, there's an outline to our potential in this lifetime. There's kind of like a space for us to grow into. And if you look close and you pay attention consciously, you're going to find it. You're going to see it. You're going to understand it. And again, that's why I wrote The Genius Way. And that's what the Genius Way process is about. Filling into your potential. Filling into your potential and expressing the gifts that you came to give to the world. Okay, so let's take a commercial break. And on the other side of that commercial, I'm going to offer you a guided visualization to help you get the point a little bit more deeply about living your potential, fulfilling your potential, and how to do that. I'll see you on the other side.
Ben Hummell's writing comes from a deep well of experience, practice, and wisdom. The Genius Way teaches you the life skills you need to find your own unique genius. Summoning Genius helps readers to turn a midlife crisis into an opportunity for personal growth. You can find Ben's books on thegeniusway.com, Amazon, and most online booksellers.
Close your eyes and take a deep breath in and then deeply exhale. Imagine that you're visiting a house that you used to live in as a child. You are alone there now, and you have the freedom to explore the house with no one around. As you travel through the various rooms, random experiences from your childhood appear and then fade away from your awareness. Now, as you enter a particular room, you notice that it's being used for storage. And placed in one corner of the room, you see a wooden chest with your name on it and the words, "Your Potential." What feelings arise when you see this old box? You go and sit on the floor in front of the chest and you open it. What do you see inside? As you're looking inside the chest, can you see any part of your potential that you're currently living out in your present life? Do you recognize anything about your potential that you've forgotten about until now? How does it feel to see what's in your box of potential? Now you're allowed to take one item from inside the box with you into your current life to help you reach and fulfill your potential. What do you take with you? How will you use this to fulfill your potential going forward? And now, with this experience fully intact in your awareness, and when you're ready, open your eyes and come back into this room. So, let's keep going with this topic. This is really an important one, and I'm on a rant here, so let's go. So, I want to read to you two of the foundational concepts of the Genius Way, just to understand kind of building blocks what the Genius Way is, okay? The concept goes, number one, there is a creative force that has a need to continually express itself as every aspect of existence, humans being one of its expressions. Okay, that's one. The second one is this creative force has passed along this need to self-express to humans like a genetic trait. So I want you to think about this here. Everything we were talking about in the first couple segments here, these are normal and natural things to occur to you as a human being. Our need to self-express and create is passed on to us literally from existence. So the energy that you feel to create something beautiful, meaningful, fulfilling, to show up in your world for the people around you as something of a blessing instead of a drag on their lives, that creative expression to keep unwinding, we got that from existence. This isn't a little personal thing. It is, but it isn't. We didn't make it up. We inherited that literally from existence. And so when you're thinking about uncovering your genius and living into it, don't think you're doing this all alone. This is the original spark from existence that we have as our inheritance. So we don't have to contrive this. We have to kind of catch that creative spark and keep moving with it. That's how we create. That's how genius is expressed, right? And that's why it feels so good when you land on it, when you're in that, what some people call the zone of genius, right? I'm in the same vibrational energy that existence is in to express this deepest aspect of myself. Okay? So I hope that makes sense to you. Don't ever think that you're alone in this endeavor. Existence wants you to be this version of yourself. Okay? You and I get sidetracked as we go through our lives, and we have all kinds of experiences, some good, some bad, some really difficult, right? And those experiences aren't meant to dampen our genius or sidetrack us from our genius expression, but sometimes they do. So the reason that I feel genius is such an important topic in our lives, is because it gives us a place to return to that's literally connected to existence whenever we have our individual experiences and if they're difficult, right? It gives us a way to come back to, oh, wait a minute, I've got this, this potential to live into. I haven't sung my song yet. I haven't sung all of my songs. My creative expression that I inherited from existence hasn't been fully expressed. And that's what I want to do. So I hope you can feel this and remember, the Genius Way and the Genius Way process is how I've found to help others to find that depth of connection with genius and to express it and to know what it feels like to express it and to know how to develop that in their lives. So hopefully this makes sense to you. Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. And on the other side, I'm going to send you off with some words of inspiration. I'll see you then.
Hi, I'm Kelly Melissa Reinhart, host of Make Mental Health Matter. Join me on Mondays at 11 a.m. and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on the Achieve TV network right here on E360 TV.
We are each a part of the creative force that we see expressing itself all around us every day. This is the exact same force that we feel within ourselves in our need to self-express. And this is also why we feel fulfilled when we live into our potential, because it's the deep satisfaction of existence itself fulfilling its potential. Our part is to consciously connect with the original creative impulse as it exists within us and give it some avenue of expression. So don't give up on the idea of feeling fulfilled in your life because it's much closer than you think. And that's our show for this week. I want to thank you guys for coming by again, and I hope you found something that's been very helpful for your personal life journey. And as usual, I'm going to send you off with a self-inquiry journal prompt. This week, here is your prompt. Which creative self-expression feels the most fulfilling to you? You got it? Which creative self-expression feels the most fulfilling to you? Okay, good. And so that's it for this week. I want to thank you guys for coming. And until we see each other next week, I want to encourage you to stay curious, be kind to yourself, and remember that your genius has something to say.
Thanks for watching The Genius Way Show with Ben Hummell. Make sure to visit thegeniusway.com for the resources you need to help you on your personal life journey. You can contact Ben at ben@thegeniusway.com. And you can follow The Genius Way with Ben Hummell on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Thanks for streaming The Genius Way Show with Ben Hummell.